All right, so today in 7.2, we're learning representations of functions. Really, guys, that's just kind of a fancy way of describing what we're learning today. Basically, we're looking at patterns, okay, statements, and we're trying to write the equation or the function rule that would match it. All right, so we're going to go through some definitions to hopefully help that make more sense. Okay, we all ready? All right, so here's kind of the main concept for today. All right, a function rule. A function rule is an equation that describes the relationship between my inputs and outputs. Okay, and we're going to talk today about what it means to be an independent variable and what it means to be a dependent variable. All right, and I think we can kind of, guess at what it means just because of what we know about something being independent. But we'll talk about it more in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to give you a really basic function. All right, this format should actually look pretty familiar to you. Okay, because function form is actually the same thing as slope-intercept form. You guys remember slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b? It's going to be in the exact same order. Okay, the y equals, and then your x, and then your number by itself. All right, so here's what we're saying here. Okay, y equals x plus 3. At this point, I can plug in whatever value I want for x. Okay, and based on the value that I plug in for x, that will determine what y equals. All right, so let's give x a value. What do we want x to equal? It really could be anything. 3? Okay, 3 is fine. X equals 3. Okay, so the fact that it's independent means this. I could literally put whatever value I want. So it's independent of anything else. Okay, but if I choose an x value of 3, so now let's plug it in. Y equals 3 plus 3. The y value is dependent on the value I choose for x. What is y going to equal now? 6. Y equals 6. So does everyone agree that because I assigned x a value of 3, that made y equal 6? Yeah. Okay, so if I had given x a different value, that would have changed my value for y. So y is dependent on x. All right, I don't want to say that too many times because I feel like it starts to get more confusing. But x, just like we explored in chapter 4, I can give x whatever value I want. We're actually going to end up graphing these. And then that determines what my y equals. All right, so example 1. Example 1, writing a function rule. So I have a statement here. I actually have 4 statements. And I'm going to take the statement and write a function rule for it. So when we think of a rule, what do rules give us? Rules give us what? Discipline, basis, boundaries, right? I know what I can do and what I can't do. So a function rule is basically telling me what I am doing to my x value to get my y, okay? It's showing me that boundary, that operation that I have to do to x to get to y. So the output is 5 less than the input. Let's review real quick which variable stands for output. Which variable is output? Just tell me. Y. And which variable is input? X. Okay, you've got to know that because that goes in your function rule. Guys, function rule is a fancy word for equation. Okay? Now, this is something we haven't talked a whole lot about, but you might remember what symbol does is stand for? So is in a statement, if I'm trying to convert a statement to an equation, is stands for what, Maya? Equals. All right, so I start off my function with y equals. That's what it means by output is. Output stands for y, is stands for my equal sign. What do you notice, guys, that's the same with all 4 of these statements? And exactly, because it's function form. A function will always be written y equals. So really the only part of this that you have to figure out is what operation is connected to x and what value. they all start with y equals. You're going to see the statement start with the output is, because it's got to be y equals to be function form. All right, so now I need to explore how would I write 5 less than the input? I know that my variable that stands for input is x. How could I write 5 less than the input? Would it be 5x or x divided by 5? No. What operation is happening here?
X minus 5.
Okay. Because of the less than part, okay? Less than is kind of, and this would be really helpful to write in your notes. Anytime you see that word than, you are actually taking from the variable. So it needs to be y equals x minus 5. If it had said more than, it's the same thing. You're adding it to the variable. Any other time, you would write it in the order you read it, 5 minus x. But because it was less than the input, I write it second. Okay? Okay, y equals x minus 5. Let's look at the second one. The output is the square of the input, the square of the input. So that second part of it, I have to figure out what's happening to x. What's happening to x? If I want to square my input, how could I write that? So if I said I wanted to square 5, I would write 5 squared. So if I want to square my input, I would write, Sarah? X squared. X squared. Okay? I'm squaring my input. Can I assign, in this scenario, whatever value I want for x? Absolutely. And then whatever the answer is, that's my y. Okay? Independent and dependent variables. We'll talk more about that in a minute. All right, so now I want everyone to try the third one. Okay, when you have the answer, I want you to raise your hand. Yes, that should have been y equals 3x. All right, what about the fourth one? We're going to pause just for a sec. Let you guys get your answers on there. There's actually a couple different ways you could write this one. The common answer I'm seeing is 1/4 x. Okay, you're taking a fourth of whatever x is. So if x was 20, 20 divided by 4 would give me y. You're taking a fourth. Does anybody know another way I could have written this, Mason?
Is it x times 1/4?
No, you always want to write the number first. Josh?
Y equals 1/2.
Yes, very good. Technically, is this the same thing? Yeah. All right. The last way, x over 4. Because technically the one is understood. Okay, and you're dividing the x value by 4. All right, this is definitely the more common way, and all three of them would be correct. All right, example 2, I'm evaluating a function. When you guys see us start to work these out, you might think this is kind of elementary, and it is. You have solved infinitely more difficult problems this year than what we're doing here in example 2. Okay, however, we're developing an understanding of this independent and dependent variable. We're assigning a value to x, which is our independent variable. All right, so we're going back to the beginning of the lesson. Remember, you can give whatever value you want to x. In this example, the book gives us an x value of 3. And our outcome, or our y value, is dependent on the value we give x. Logically it makes sense, but it's something new that we kind of have to understand. All right, so go ahead and plug it in. 2x plus 5 when x equals 3. Go ahead and evaluate that. So 2x plus 5, 2 times 3 plus 5. There's no catch. What's 2 times 3 plus 5? 11, okay? But we're understanding, because we gave x a value of 3, that affects our answer. Would you agree, if we gave x a different value, our answer would have been different? So the answer is dependent on the value we give x. All right, so let's kind of explore that a little more. On the right side of the slide, find the value of y when x equals 5. So plug in 5 for x and tell me what y equals. We'll just take maybe a minute to go ahead and work these out. All right, so y equals 19. Y equals 19. and y equals 50. All right. I'm expecting 100% accuracy on this section. Okay, I think it's very possible. All right, we're just doing basic substitutions there. Okay, example 3, kind of where it all comes together. Okay, this is actually not new to you. In chapter 4, we graphed linear equations using a table. All right, I know it's kind of way back. I mean, we're talking probably October-ish that we learned this. But we graphed a linear equation using a table, and when we did that, we used what we called a standard domain set. A standard set. You guys remember me saying that? What's our standard set of numbers? Guess what? It's the same thing with functions. Okay? Now, why would I choose these numbers? Why wouldn't I choose -50, 0, and 50?
Because you don't make your graph too big.
Yeah, you want to keep your graph small. There's no point in making our graph ridiculously large or having to make our intervals really big. Let's just keep it basic, okay? So we're going to use our standard set, and really, guys, the only change is what I'm calling it. I'm calling it now, instead of an XY table, I'm calling it input-output. Input is my X, output is my Y, and if you remember back to chapter 4, you probably remember what we're going to do next. Okay, so what I want you to do is write down this function, y equals -2x plus 1, and then I want you to copy down this table. We're going to fill in the table. Now, what do you think you're going to do with your input values? You might have already even done it. What do you think you're going to do with these numbers? -2, 0, and 2. What do you think you'll do with that? Plug it in for what? Plug it in for x, okay? Now this step, guys, I'm going to show you, and it's a good idea to show it, but you will not be deducted points because you can do this mental math. But what we're doing is we're plugging it in to that function. -2 times -2 plus 1. You see what I just did there? I plugged in -2 where x was in the function. What's -2 times -2? 4 plus 1 is 5, okay? And that makes an ordered pair, -2, 5. And I'm sure you can see where we're going with this, okay? So I want you to plug in 0, get your output, an ordered pair. Plug in 2, get your output, and ordered pair. And then I just want to sketch real quick a graph on your notes, okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to sketch a graph on your notes. Use your badge as a straight edge if you don't have a ruler. And I'm going to kind of just walk around and check on you guys as you're plugging in these values. What's our output value when we plug in 0? It's going to be 1, so it's going to be 0, 1. And what's our output value, Ethan, when we plug in 2? -3, so that matches up to make an ordered pair. Okay, and then we plot the points over here on our graph, -2, 5, 0.01, 0.2, -3. And at this point, again, looks super familiar because this is how we graph linear equations, except now it's a function, okay? So just calling it something different, all right? And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 7.2.